I don't know if anybody's going to be able to make it, so we're just going to get right into it. I'm sewing the Alice Wristlet in case for anybody watching this after my live. This is by It's Bloom and Needle. She's formerly known as Hallel Patterns. She changed her name. She's got two versions of the Alice Wristlet. The crystal, which is featured on this picture here, or the classic, which is just main one color, and then you got a top band on the front. So I am going to make a great effort and maybe sewing both of those. It's a wristlet. I think what might take the longest is probably doing card slots. This has card slots in it. It has an exterior zipper pocket as well as a slip pocket with the slip pocket inside as well. So it's a really cute wristlet. She's also coming out with a handbag by the same name. And this is as a companion to her upcoming pattern handbag, Alice, as well. So my what I am planning to do is my wristlets that I sew up today will be coordinate with the handbags that I will be making as well. Now the handbags is currently in testing, and I will also make a tutorial for the handbag, but I didn't have time to do a tutorial for the wristlet, so I thought we'd go ahead and do it live. Today is her release date on this, and right now, if you join her Facebook page, Facebook group, Bloom and Needle Sewing Circle, you can download for 1 week only this pattern for free. So again, 1 week only, starting today. Today's the release date. Join her Facebook group and you can download this pattern for free. And then in the next couple of weeks, she will release her handbag that goes with this, which is really cute because you've got a nice, cute companion wristlet to go with the handbag that's coming out. All right, so I'm going to go right into it, and then whoever can join, great. I know this is not my normal time. I am off today. I had a show yesterday, well, actually both Saturday and Sunday. So I took off today to gather myself, but I also promised Phoebe that I would go ahead and do a live date since I couldn't test or do a tutorial on it. But again, I will do a test and tutorial on her companion bag, Alice Companion. So again, we're going to start with her crystal, which is the little more, here's a better picture. So this is the crystal. As you can see, it's got two little things. You could do a different, 3 different colors if you want. I am doing that. And then this is her classic, which has the top band on the front. So we're going to do, again, I'm going to try really hard to do both of those in this one sitting. I will at 5 o'clock be done. It's dinner time and I do need to make some dinner for the night. So anyways, and I got hair sticking out, so we're just going to fix that. And sorry, I am late. Hello, Adonma, how you doing? I spilled pop on my table right before I went live, so I had to clean that up. And while I was cleaning it up, I have one of those metal mats under my cutting mat. And while I was cleaning up, I reached underneath there and started cleaning, and my finger went right along the side of that. So I've got a nice little piece of skin that is cut on my knuckle. So we had to do some control. This is a little bit, hi, Lindiana. We had to do a little bit of damage control. This is a little too big, but the ones that I had were not big enough Band-Aids. So we had to go a little big to accommodate not showing blood on YouTube. So, yes, and she bled pretty good too, by the way. Who knows? So note to self or to others, if you have those metal cutting mats under your, or the metal, aluminum, or let's say the metal mats under your cutting mat. I cannot talk right now. Be very careful. They're very sharp edges and they do cut your fingers. All right. So again, I'm going to get started with the Crystal went first. And I do know that Jeannie from Moon Dragon Designs, she did also sew one up yesterday. And I wasn't able to watch the whole thing. I just popped in on, oh, that's for the shoulder bag. I did pop in to say hi because while I was at my show yesterday, because I wanted, you know, just wanted to see her, plus give her a thumbs up, because us YouTubers love thumbs up. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I am. I'm in America. So we're going to get started. Let me get my pattern piece. I couldn't get it to download on my tablets, and I did print it. So we are going to get started. So I'm going to grab, again, we're doing the crystal piece first. So we're going to grab piece A, which is this, piece B, which is like that, piece B. And then we want piece C, which is another little triangular shaped piece. I am making the crystal, I'm sorry, the Alice Wristlet by Bloom and Needle. I didn't have a chance to put all of that stuff in my description. I will do it after the live. But if you currently join her Facebook page, she is offering the Alice Wristlet pattern for free for 1 week only. And today is February 20. I'm terrible with my dates. I think today is the 22nd, 23rd. Today's February 23rd. So for 1 week only from today's date, if you join her Facebook group, you can download this pattern for free. All right, so we'll get right into it. Thank you, Lindy. And yeah, I know, I was going to say, I know Jeannie from Moon Dragon got hers, did it yesterday. So I'm hoping you all were able to get that who joined Jeannie yesterday. But anyway, so we're going to get started. So I am going to grab my piece A, which is this great print by Tulip Bee. I'll put it in the description which one this is. I cannot remember the exact. Hi, Jeannie. I was just talking about you did a live yesterday. And I'm going to try to do both of them in this one sitting. We'll see how fast I can get through them. But I will put a description of what this is, but this is all of my vinyl and almost all of my insides except one piece, my card slot for my classic size are all from Tulip Bee. The card slots from the classic size is canvas from My Handmade Space. And I'll put all of that in my description once I'm done. I don't have an admin to go in and do all the links. So we're going to go with, we're doing this. All right, let's get started. So we're going to take piece A, lay that down. Let me get my camera, lower my camera real quick so you can see the table. My hands, I'm sorry, my hand's in the way. There we go. Oops, I'm about ready to lose my camera here. I keep putting my thumbs and my fingers in the way. So I think, let me know if that is okay. I apologize for doing all that shifting around. All right, let's fix the shirt. Piece A. We're going to grab piece A. And then we are going to grab, let's see, piece B. This is piece B. All right. No, piece A. I tried to pull colors out of this print to go. So we're going to grab piece A, and then we're going to take piece B, put it on right sides together to piece A. Now, when you put this right sides together, she does give you a great little tip on how to join these, and she lets you know which side to join, which is really, really nice. So we're going to join this. Now, if you notice, they're going to be, this piece is a little longer than the other. So what you're going to do, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to, where I can see where the little points peek out. You want to go roughly 1/4 of an inch to 3/8 of an inch where it sticks out. So let's go ahead and get that. And the dog, I mean, if she stops barking, I guess, but I don't think anybody can hear you guys can't hear the dog barking, can you? I hope not. All right, so let me get my stitch length. I don't think you can hear. All right, so let's get that stitch. Now, if you're off just a tad bit as far as when you fold it out, that is not a deal breaker. You can usually hide that. So we're going to get this done. Let me make sure I'm at the right seam allowance. Yes. So we're going to back stitch. Oh, let me move this a little bit. There we go. That's much better, I think. Whoa, she said. All right, let's get going. Oh, you can hear a little bit? Okay, it's fine. Yeah, it's good. I don't know what this, I mean, she is a good dog. She just, I don't know. She likes to bark and hear her voice. And it's actually quite irritating. Fortunately, during the day, most of our neighbors are gone. We have a couple of neighbors that work from home like I do. But they're not usually home on Mondays. And there you're going to open up your seam allowance like that. And then you're going to top stitch on both sides 1/8 of an inch away from the seam. Yeah, neighbors usually aren't home during the day, except mainly on Friday. The one, I think, he works from home on Fridays. And the other one works from home every other day or something like that. All right. How should I know? I sit in my room all day long and work. But today I'm off. I'm off today. Tomorrow I'm off because I'm going to record a tutorial on Liz J Crafts, her bag. I'm going to record tomorrow for that. And then Wednesday is a me day. Wednesday's a me day. All right, so it's top stitched like that. Now I'm just going to trim off those little dog ears. And this did go over just a smidgen. We're just going to clean that up like that. Let's see. There's the top. See, I picked, this is Oceanic from Tulip Bee. That's her faux reel is what this is. This, again, I can't remember the name of this print, but I tried to pull the blue out, and I had just enough scraps left. And you guys, this is kind of a hint of what my what the shoulder bag is going to look like, because again, I am making these as companions to the shoulder bags when I do when I work on those. So then you're going to take piece C and put it right sides together along the long edge here like that. She does a really good job. If you ever get confused on which side to sew to in her pattern pieces, she does put, let's show you. She does put down where it says join here. This is where you're going to do the join here, right in this V of this upper of piece A. So I'm going to put this right sides together. Again, hang your little dog ears over about 3/8 of an inch over. So let me just kind of shift it a little bit. That is way too much. You want to make sure that when you fold this piece out, it folds out. I mean, if it goes over a little bit, you can always clean it up. But if you if you go too shy on one side, then it will be really odd shaped. So you don't want that. So let me kind of even up my pieces here. Ideally, you could, let's do this. Ideally, what you could do. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Yeah, these are, I wanted to put something springy because, well, we got snow last night. Yesterday, on my way to my little show yesterday, Saturday was cold, but the sun was out Saturday. And I was at a flower and garden center is where our show was. It's really kind of a neat idea. They host a spring craft show in their greenhouse, which it's not really hot because it's winter time. It was a little muggy at times, but then they opened up the little the little tops of the greenhouse, some of the air, the heat escape. And I got cold because I was right by one of those things, but I survived, obviously. And then yesterday it was so cold here. Oh, it's still cold. Of course, they didn't open any of that yesterday. So you really, best way to do this, honestly, is do a center mark on the long edge here, and then a center mark on your little piece C, and then center it out, and then you get a nice equal thing. So we're going to stitch this at the seam allowance she gives you. But yeah, we had flurries all morning. It didn't really accumulate any snow yesterday during the day, but when I woke up this morning, there was about I don't know, ½ inch maybe, if that, in this morning here. But it was still snow, which is yuck for me. I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to be honest with you. It was just not a fan of this stuff. Hence the name Quilted Cactus, because I much would rather be in the middle of a desert. That is why my cactus is in my name. So we're just stitching this on at her seam allowance that she gives you. And this will complete the front of your wristlet. So we're going to open this up. Isn't that cute? We're going to open this up. Sometimes I stick colors together, and I'm just not sure if I like them. But I do like this. Now, if you're worried about bulk right here where these two seams meet, you can always go in and just kind of snip it a little bit, just at an angle, just to help alleviate some of that bulk. If you've got a sewing machine that doesn't like the slightest bit of bulk, you can always just snip in like that. I wonder if Corey's home. That might be why she's barking. All right, so let's open up the seam. And we're going to top stitch both sides of this seam. I like this. I like the crystal version. I just think it's really cute because you could always add color to it as well. If you want, you can always make it a solid color. I mean, all one color, either all one print, all one solid. But with the piecing and then the top stitching, it always can add a little something to your piece. So let me get that. So we're going to top stitch here again. And I top stitch at a 5 on my machine, on my industrial. I don't know what that translates on a domestic. But I do a 5 on this in my industrial. And I just sew on a Juki 1541S. I opted for this one because it has a clutch for if you knock it out of sync, you can fix it. And I'm going to tell you what, my luck with things, I need that. And what's funny is, as soon as I got it, I knocked it out of sync, and the clutch thing was not working, didn't work right, and it went out of timing, and I had to call, right after I bought it, I had to call somebody, come out and service it, put it back into timing, because something went wrong. They didn't have, what was it, he told me something wasn't tightened in the, underneath here, it wasn't tight right, and that caused it to go out of timing. But it's fixed. Everything's all good. Now, I'm going to grab my little cutting mat. And you can see, like I say, it's okay if it goes over. You just don't want to be shy. So I'm just going to clean that edge up a little bit. I'm just going to, whoops, that's not my, I need my longer ruler. My station is a hot mess. So give me a quick second. Let me fix this. Now, it did go over a little bit, but I'm going to, there we go. I'm making sure when I trim this down, I am making sure I'm not cutting into that little divot right there. That makes my little corners. I'm going at it at a little bit of an angle. So there's that. Isn't that cute? I love these colors to go together. So I'm just going to clean up this edge at the bottom. That and that. And it's just where that guy, a little dog ear is at. So here is the front of my pouch wristlet. All right. So we got that all together. So the next step, let me get my pattern pieces out of the way here. Kind of keep those together. Now, the next step, let's see, is we're going to do the wristlet strap. So now we get this all together. Let me grab the wristlet. My wristlet strap is Glinda. This is also, again, Tulip Bee. All my exteriors Tulip Bee. And this is her signature smooth collection, and this is Glinda. It's a very pink, but I really like it sometimes. I just got another roll of this. This was last year when she did the those little Cupid boxes last year. Kasaya did. This color was in it, and I just loved it. All right, let's get this out of the way. We need to keep cutting tools, anything that cuts. So she does her wristlet strap a little different than most people. So we've made a line in the center of our wristlet strap, and then I've got double-sided tape. You can see where it's a little shiny. I've got half-inch double-sided tape through the center, and then I didn't mean to take the backing off just yet. I got a little bit carried away. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my I got a little carried away on my wristlet strap. So give me a quick second. I'm going to put these at the top because I got to sew these short ends together. And this will stick to my machine if I don't protect it. So do not take your backing off just yet. First you're going to do is you're going to place the short ends right side together like that. Give it a clip. And then you're going to stitch the short ends together. Like that, at the seam allowance that she gives you. Let's get the wristlets. Let's see. Now, just for pattern explanation purposes, she shows you how to do the crystal first on her pattern pieces. And then after you put your crystal together, the next page, at the top of the next page, she shows you how to construct the classic, which again, we're going to try to get to that. Then she has you put the stabilizer on the front and the back, which I will show you. I will do all of that when I get to that point. I will do the stabilizer at a later point. When I start to construct the exterior, we'll go over that. So now we're on to number 2, which is making the wristlet. So that we got that. So we're going to take this, and then we are going to sew this together, the short ends together. Oh, wait a minute. She's got you doing it together. Let me read real fast. I think. Okay. So she has you, I almost lied to you. She does have you folding to the centers first, but not at the top. You're going to leave about 3, let's see, how much does she want you to leave at the top? I would leave roughly around 3/4 of an inch at the top open. So we're going to, Toni, read first. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to fold yours to the center, leaving a small gap. I usually use my pencil or pen line in the center as my guide for the gap. I try to stay on the on the side of the line instead of going right on the line. Again, you're not going to fold down at the top, but see, I've got my little pieces there at the top to keep it from sticking. So let's fold that down. Just be careful. Now this signature smooth that I have, it can be a little stretchy if I start like pulling and tugging on it. So I am not going to do that. I'm just going to lightly lay down and just kind of just run my hand over it. Just, All right, and I've got that little gap in the center. Now what you're going to do, let me just kind of hold it. You're going to take these 2 pieces. Now you're going to put your short ends together. So just kind of open it up a little bit. And if you have to unstick it a little bit, that's fine. Match up your short ends. Now, you probably could try to fold these in after you do this. It's just more difficult. But as long as you've got good clips, this part should be fine. And I'm going to go over some of these clips that I have, you guys, here shortly. I want to show you something that I've discovered on these little metal clips. Let me get these together first, and then we'll go over. Now, when we get to the second one, we're going to, like I say, we're going to try to sew them both. If we get to the second one, stuff like this, I'm not going to go over in full detail. We're just going to give it a sew. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start sewing it. When I get to that piece there, I will, let's see, what's my seam allowance? Let me take a quick gander. Sew at bloody blah. Okay. So this is, pay attention to seam allowances because this is a little different than the wristlet seam allowance. All right, back stitch. It don't really matter. All right. When I get up to that, I'm going to go ahead and remove my backing of my double-sided tape backing. You really probably don't need to take your double-sided tape all the way up to the end, but this is okay. It should be all right just for this little bit here. Now, if this was like something that's going to like actually be visible, this won't be visible. I wouldn't trust it. I would try to peel the tape off. All right. So these little alligator clips. I want to show you something. Oh, Wendy's, yeah, I've heard that the Northeast got some serious weather. It's flurried today. We got, I gotta say, I don't even know if we got a half an inch of snow last night. But it's windy. We do nothing like you guys got. So these clips here are the ones from Jackson Lowe. And when I say this, I am not taking anything away from them when I mention this. These are great little clips. They're nice, strong clips, and they don't break like those plastic clips. Of course, you really can't do away with plastic clips because you're going to need plastic clips for certain, like top, when you hold your top of your bags down and stuff like that. You don't want this. But I went and ordered some clips off of Amazon just to see if I like them. I wasn't paying really a lot of attention to the clips when I ordered them, and I ordered clips that have these little pieces of, I don't know if it's not really rubber, like silicone on the inside. You can see a little bit. Here, these open. If I can get my fingers to work, you can see the difference in the two. I just want to show you these, you guys. I got to use the right fingers because see how you can, there we go. See the difference in the two? These will grip because of their metal edges, they'll grip a hold of, sometimes they'll grip hold of your pieces or make marks or indentations because they're metal clips, and they're supposed to because they're metal, right? These don't have that. This piece of silicone fills in that space. So it's flush with that little lip right there. I love these little guys. I got these off of Amazon. Again, I'll put a link in there. Yes, they all do. Every clip has its own place. I've got plastic clips. I got the alligator clips. I've got hair clips. And if there's another clip that comes out, I'll probably give it a test run as well. But anyway, so if anybody's interested in trying these out, it was $10 for, I want to say 40 clips. Honestly, they're like identical to the ones you get. It's assortment colors. It's not one color. It is an assortment. I like them. I really like them. Again, I am not taking anything away from Jackson Lowe and the clips that they sell. I just got these by accident because I just wanted to see if there was a difference in the pieces. And as far as the metal part, I don't see a difference. a lot. I really haven't noticed a difference, I guess I should say. And I like them. All right. So once we get our short ends together, we're going to open the seam like that. And since I already have double-sided tape there, this will lay down nicely. So let me just open my seam like that. I am going to go ahead and put a piece of double-sided tape in the center right here where my vinyl is open. So I'm going to put a little sliver of tape there. So that way when I lay the rest of this into the center, this will it'll stick. It won't that one part won't come loose because it is a little thicker. All right, so we're going to fold this into the center. Now this is a little different than some people do it, but I have done wristlets this way before, or not, yeah, wristlet straps. Of course, if you've got those really cute, which I haven't bought yet, really cute wristlet set that you can get from Jolie Lee. They like, you just fold it together and then you put your little cap on, kind of like a key ring cap. You just slip it on. By all means, do that because that's just that's really neat. All right. You know what I forgot to do, you guys, with all my incidents beforehand of doing this? I forgot to grab my zipper. So once we get to the zipper, I will have to get up and go grab a zipper. All right. So Toni forgot to get her hardware. Toni is making her live snafus again. You did, Tammy? Do you like them? Toni forgot to show you something. Yeah, I'm talking about myself in the third person. Because if I don't, then you're going to think that, you know, the other Toni that you watch is an idiot. I'm just going to throw that out there. I forgot to put my hardware on. Toni needs to pay closer attention to patterns when she's doing lives, right? And I got to be careful with the smooth, because with the signature smooth, if you sew over it too many times, it does start to tear because it's signature. It's a very smooth, soft vinyl, which I love it. It's got a great look to it. So let me go grab some hardware real fast. My hardware is over to the front of me on the side. Then let's talk about, who wants to talk about craft shows? I mean, let's talk about craft shows. Because I know, once I get my hardware, because I'm going to tell you what, I have a lot of people, I see a lot of questions in Facebook groups that I belong to about craft shows, about what we charge. Tammy, yes. Let me go get my hardware real fast. Give me a quick second. Sorry about that. I'm always prepared, but never prepared, right? Always, but never. Oops, I'm moving the camera. Let me get this out of the way. I got my... All right. What color of hardware? I think we should be going gold with this. So 3/4 inch hardware. So let me get my hook. For my other one, I think I'm going to go silver with my other one. So I'm going to go ahead and get my other one real quick. And I need to get a zipper. Let me grab a zipper while I'm up. Whoops, I'm going to fall first. Zipper. Achieved. And I need one more zipper. And we are going to go zipper achieved. Look at that. I think that is the quickest I've ever picked out zippers for bags. Not going to lie. Probably because I'm under pressure. Because I really want to get both of these done today. I really do. All right. Get your zipper. Get your hook on. All right. Let me get my threads out of there. So, craft fairs, craft shows. Really, when you do this, you kind of just got to go ahead and fold it like this. and put it on, and slip it on there. What that does is it'll hold it in place, but yet you've got it in there. Hi, Val. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today. Yeah, I wanted to do it. Since I was off work today, I wanted to do one in the afternoons just in case you can make it, because I know you've been wanting to join me. She calls me the crazy cactus lady. And I am crazy. Okay, so let's talk about our craft shows. Being the fact that yesterday or this weekend was my first 2 of the season, I started doing craft shows a little over a year ago. My first one was it was the Thursday or Saturday after Thanksgiving in 2024. As my first craft show. I had a good show. My very first one. I can't complain about my first ever show. Nobody ever heard of me. Nobody knew who I was. Things of that nature. And I was very pleasantly surprised. And I was like, okay, I can do this craft show thing. You know, I used to, years ago, I did retail. So we're going to do what I just did, except put the hook on because that's what you're supposed to do. So I did, well, Valerie, you're missing all of my messes. But anyway, so last year I did a few outdoors ones. Blech. Those were terrible. I did a few indoor ones. My first couple of indoor ones last year, they weren't great, but I learned some things from my indoor ones last year. My first few indoor ones. Actually, maybe my first 2. Anybody in this business, meaning making vinyl bags, not our fabric bags or fabric totes, anything of that nature, they do fine at those craft shows. I have noticed, because I've been close to some of them. They do fairly well because they're able to charge. Yes, we are. Maybe we are a little bit crazy. Anyway, so now we're going to take and fold this back down like I had it when I realized that I forgot to have my hardware on. So let's go ahead and finish this up. So basically, let's do this real fast and then I'll finish my craft show soliloquy, right? So we're going to do all of that, and then we're going to take it then and we're going to fold it together. Now you will have some bulk there. If you've got like pliers, which I do have a little set of pliers, I'm going to squeeze that and help eliminate some of that bulk. But then you're going to take it and fold it together like that all the way around. And then you're going to have your wrist strap. Like I say, it's a little different. I've done them like this before. It's nothing wrong with this way. The other way, that when you do use Leslie's little strap wristlet hooks, you don't get the bulk with that, and you're not trying to sew through multiple layers. So if you have the option to do that hardware, that would be great. When I get into my story, I don't want that cost added to my bags, and I'm going to tell you the reason why here shortly. So you've got this all together. There's my hook. Now you're going to top stitch all around this. But when you top stitch it, let me find that seam. Let me get my pliers. Now when you top stitch it, you're going to put that seam back behind. So I'm going to grab my little scrap here, put it over my vinyl, and then I'm going to squeeze this seam to flatten it. Oh, that hurt. My hands, my fingers, some of my fingers don't bend. And so this is what we do when we don't have bendy fingers. Gosh darn it. I have to use my, okay. That's where we're going to end that right there before I make a fool of myself. Oh, all right. That's better. So now we're going to top stitch all the way around it, And we're going to start, of course, we're always going to start on the opened end. Now, when you do the top stitching, whoops, I need to move my, you're actually going to, I'm going to move this up, because what you're going to do is when you do the, when you top stitch, you're going to top stitch all around it. But when you attach your, I want to go ahead and start with my hook up here. This will be behind in the back, and then I'll be the front of your wrist strap. And you don't need to do this right away, but I am going to do it right now this way. That way I don't forget to move it up, because again, y'all know me. There's a high probability I'll forget because I'm on a live. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I was sitting there and doing this without a live, I would be a less probability that I mess up, but not a zero probability. The thread I'm using is going to blend real well, so I'm going to backstitch. And I'm going to start in the back of it. That way, the back stitch has a less likely of showing up. Okay, back to craft shows. Get my ADD but you are going to have to move this around a little bit. But where you stop is where you stop's going to be about where your swivel hook is. So you'll know that's, a stopping for your swivel hook. But anyway, so I learned real quick, fast, and in a hurry, when you sell vinyls at craft shows, you're not going to get what you think your item is worth. It is, Valerie. Now, this is Tulip Bee. And I know you hear a lot about it in Jeannie's, or I shouldn't say Jeannie's, but Jeannie's Design Barbie's when she does her lives and stuff. And if you follow Kasaya, she uses a lot of Tulip Bee. Just so you know, Tulip Bee does ship international, but you will have to reach out to her. Just send her an email. She's great with responding to emails. And just reach out to her if you do want to want some Tulip Bee items. Again, she does ship internationally. You just have to reach out to her, and you can, see what it costs to ship to you. Because she's got great stuff. And I just put another order in today. I got more Tulip Bee stuff coming to me because I just couldn't help myself. I've had a cart for a week, and I finally had to pull the trigger because I need more of this color to finish my larger bag. The Oceanic Faux Reel. I had to have some more of that. That was my excuse. Anyway, back to craft shows. So you won't get what you feel your bag is worth, or actually technically what your bag... There we go. I don't know what happened. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. Apparently I froze up for a quick minute. Sorry about that. I looked up and my face was like... And I lost people. Everybody. Oh, I got a couple back. There we go. Are you still here? Thank you, Lindiana. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so I'm back to where I started. So I'm just going to be careful and make sure I, since I'm back stitching, that I don't have too many back stitches in here. There we go. Because back stitching, while it doesn't always show up when you on your same colors, it's still, you can still see a little bit. Thank you, Val. I don't know what happened. I looked up and my face was frozen, and I'm going to tell you what, that's not a face. This is not a face you want to see frozen in front of you. Anyway, so there's my seam. So I'm going to take my, I'll just turn it back this way. And then I'm going to stitch the other side. So you're just going to do both sides. All right. All right, let's go a little faster. Because the rate I'm going, I am not going to get done what I want to get done. Let me do this one fast and then I'll talk. So what this does is you're able to do the wrist strap without sewing them together and making a lot of bulk. I'm going to clean these threads up, and then I'm going to, I'm not going to put the rivet in it right now to save time. Let me run just a tiniest bit of heat, because this, I don't want to melt my vinyl. All right. And this is going to be put on, I want this to be my inside, because where I had to stitch, it doesn't look great. There we go. So there's yours. And then you're going to do is you can put like a little stitch here, or you can just put a rivet. I'm just going to rivet it. I don't need to put anything, but you're basically going to put a rivet, you know, right here where she tells you to. And it's basically right below this, the thing. And then you've got your cute little wrist strap. So there's your wrist strap. All right, let's set that. I'm going to actually put it in my little bin. All right. Let's get our connector made. So our connector for our wrist strap, it is in here somewhere. There we go. I need to go grab me a D-ring because, you know, again, I'm not prepared. I need a gold and a silver D-ring, 3/4 inch. Please tell me I have a 3/4 inch D-ring in gold. I do. Ooh, I got 2 left. Okay. 3/4 inch D-rings. I'm using just plain old gold and silver, or silver and gold, right? All right. I want gold. So you're just going to do this the same way pretty much you do any connectors. You're going to take your piece, mark the center, put some tape on either side of the center, and then fold it to, and then top stitch both sides. You're going to actually touch the center with the with your piece, because since you're not folding it inward, I think you are. Let me look. Let's see. So I'm going to throw some double-sided tape here. But anyway, let me do this, and then let me see how she's got you doing it. Yeah, because you're only going to fold this one time just to the center, and then you're going to top stitch both sides of your connector. Did that make the box? I think that actually made my box. And again, you're going to touch each other, because you're not folding it inward to each other. So there's your that, and then I'm going to top stitch. So one of my first craft shows indoors, yeah, I didn't make hardly anything. I don't even know. I think I did at least make my booth fee. I mean, I'll be honest with you. My first indoor craft show. Well, I lied. My first 2025 indoor craft show. The very first craft show was in November of 2024, and I just did really well on that one. It was Christmas time, so I mean, you know. Anyway. But I priced my stuff what I thought I should get out of it. I mean, it's our creations. We put our blood, no lie, blood, sweat, and tears in it. And yes, and there's tears sometimes. In our craft. I mean, this is something we love to do. Well, I have learned that you are going to have to lower your prices at a craft show. So there you go. Now we're going to take our D-ring, slip it on. I need a 1-inch D-ring. That's okay. And then I'm going to just stitch this closed, just so it stays closed. And when I sew it into my bag, it's not going to be loose and cause problems. So I'm just going to stitch this shut just to hold it shut. Like, it's just basically a top stitch basting type of deal on this end, on the raw end. But yeah, I have learned that I can't. So when I make stuff for fairs and stuff, I will not put a ton of hardware on it. That's why I can't do the great. I know, Lindiana, that's the truth. And I try not to get so offended by it. Saturday, I was really, oh, thank you. I apologize, Valor. It is, yes, it is the Alice. Let me show you real fast. Alice Wristlet. It is Bloomin' Needle. She used to be called Hallel. I did a tutorial on her Everly and her Leora. But this is her newest. If you join her Facebook group, right now you can get this wristlet for free. I'll tell you, for anybody who's here that didn't hear me in the very beginning, she has two different designs. The crystal, which is what we're doing right now, and then she has a classic wristlet design. Her wristlet comes with an interior card slots and an interior slip pocket, and then this wristlet comes with an exterior zipper pocket. This is a great little wristlet because she has got a companion handbag coming out. We're currently in testing a great handbag coming out, and it is as a companion to the Alice wristlet, and it's going to be the Alice shoulder bag. So I am making my wristlets to match my shoulder bags when I do my shoulder bags. I will be doing a full tutorial on the shoulder bags once we're done with testing. And I wanted to do these. These will be matching my shoulder bags because when I sell my bags, I will sell the wristlets with the bags. Anyway, so there is our connector. That is ready to go. All right. I lost my page. All right. There we go. All right. Let me look. Sewing this. All right. So now we're moving on to the slip pocket. I'm just doing it in order. Usually a lot of people like to do the exterior first, which I do. I love making the exterior first, but we're going to go ahead in order of the pattern. I think it's easier to follow that way in case someone wants to do it. So the slip pocket, I'm going to do slip pocket just slightly different than she has it. She has you stitch the sides together and then turn it right side out. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't do it that way only because I don't like the corners. Oh, why am I keep freezing up? I have got myself on do not disturb. Unless, you guys, I might have to check something. I'm sorry. I have to make sure I have a situation in my family that my niece that I need to make sure everything's okay. So give me a quick second to make sure this is not an emergency coming in. I apologize on that. I wonder if it's a text that's coming in. Okay, no, I apologize. I'm sorry, my niece is going through something very traumatic right now, and I was just making sure that that we haven't had any kind of word. I can't go over what it is. Just pray for my niece, Mandy. That's all I can tell you right now. Okay, so what am I going to do with my wristlet is the seam allowance that she gives you, I'm just going to double it and draw a line on the long sides of this piece here. So let me grab my roller. She's going through something that I just can't imagine. Anyway, maybe I can talk about it later. But we'll see. All right. So what is the seam allowance? Okay. So what I'm doing is because I'm going to do it a little tiny bit different. I am going to go in and if you're going to make marks, make sure this is not something that will show through. That probably will. So let me grab my one pen here. That's not going to show through. I'm just, again, doubling up her seam allowance, drawing a line. I'm going to put a 1/8 double-sided tape down the long edges on the along the raw edges, and then I'm going to fold them in. It's just the way I like to do it. This is years ago, I seen a pattern designer doing this, and I love it. I love the way it gives me clean points in my pockets. But again, you can sew it together like she has. You put it right sides together, sew it up, turn it right side out. You leave this raw edge open because that's where you're gonna turn it like that, and then you're gonna put your trim piece on top with the finished edge. And but you got to poke out those corners. I can never get my corners to look right. All right, so let's get that off. I'm gonna fold these up to the line I drew. Also this way, if your machine doesn't like double-sided tape, this may not be the route you want to go as well, because you could hit, even though I'm using 1/8 inch double-sided tape, and this seam allowance is a little bigger, you still, if you're worried about hitting it, I would do it the way her pattern suggests. All right, again, this is a great wristlet to go with the bag, because with the shoulder bag that she came out with, I think it's really neat. You just grab it and go if you don't need to take a whole bag. All right, I'm going to put the raw edges together like that, and then I've got this. I'm just going to take my little flathead screwdriver, and I'm just going to do this. That takes that bulk out when it folds, and I'm going to throw a clip. But yeah, I've had to reduce my prices. I'm going back to my craft shows, guys. I know, ADD in full-blown action right now. I'm going to clip that, clean that edge up, just straighten it up like that. I think we're really going to get through the one today. I really wanted to get through both. All right, I can put dinner off 30 minutes, but honestly, I'm going to be hungry, and then I'm going to need to eat. And we don't want to see Toni trying to talk and shake at the same time. That's the last thing we want to do. We're going to get our trim piece for our slip pocket. It is the center's marked, and then I've got 1/8 of an inch double-sided tape on both sides. I'm going to take it off the one. And I'm going to lay my raw edge of my slip pocket where it's open. Now you can top stitch up here to hold it shut. I'm just going to leave it open, and I'm just going to like throw a clip on the top, so when I put it on, it doesn't gap. It'll gape open a little bit. So I'm just going to center this out. My piece is a little longer because that's what I had left, and I just cut what I needed. Below the line. Do not go on the line or above. Go below that line just a little bit. Valerie, it is 4:21 here. So what are you about? 2,100 hours. That's 11 o'clock, right? No, that's 8 o'clock, right? I haven't had to use that time. We call what we call military time here. I know there's another name for it. I haven't had to use that in years. Yeah, we don't want a hangry Toni. An ADD Toni is enough. A hangry Toni is not good. That is not good. Especially when my blood sugar drops. Woo! That's like when my blood sugar drops and I'm hungry, that is like ADD and overtime. I'm not going to lie. We're going to fold this over. Just try to line it up the best you can with the back part. That's why I like to keep mine, actually, my slip pocket piece, I like to keep it a little bit long. That helps me to line it up a little better. And then I like to just trim it off to make sure it's a nice even piece. So I'm just folding this over like that. I'm going to throw a clip in the center just to hold it down, since I did not top stitch. But there you go. There's my slip. And then I'm going to stitch it. Now this one's a little more narrow slip pocket trim than usually. I always double stitch my slip pocket trim pieces. I just like that better. I'm still going to do this one. I'm just going a little more narrow as far as my top stitching. Usually it's an 1/8. I'm going a little less. than 1/8 so I can get 2 stitches in here. I just like that on here because it's an open edge. Just make sure you back stitch that. And then we're going to stitch at the top a little bit. There we go. And where I back stitch at is actually on the, I start my stitching prior to getting to the pocket, and then I'll back stitch once I get on the pocket, and then I'll just single stitch back off of it a little bit. So that way when I trim it up, it's trimmed up on that back stitching. Trimmed up before. So I'm just going to clean this up. Yeah, I wanted to do my live at 2, then 3 hit, and I had Mountain Dew everywhere. I had blood profusing from my finger, and yeah, it's like 3 o'clock, you know, hey. And then I tried to do my bobbin real fast. My thing jammed. It's like, okay, you know, what? My lives, I'm telling you what, if you want comedy hour, come see Toni. All right. I am putting just a small, where's my label? I have just my small labels here that I have. I'm putting this in my slip pocket. These are just pocket labels. These are like what I used to use before I got my cork ones from Heartwood and Hide. I use these on my bags. I just stuck them on the inside. This is now what I use when I stitch like a pouch or something. So, and since this is a pouch / wristlet, I'm going to use that, and then I'll use my cork tags on my exterior. What did I do? Val. I spilled sugar pop, so I had to clean it up or else I'm going to have sticky everywhere on my workstation right when I was trying to really quick finish things up and get things ready. So I'm trying to clean it up. I got one of the mats like Barbie does at her cutting station. One of those aluminum sheets that go under your mat. It's not aluminum or it wouldn't be magnetic. One of those metal sheets that goes under my cutting mat for when I cut things. I put my magnets on it and it holds my stuff still. Anyways, so I'm just cleaning away and I'm going this business. And next thing I know, I went whoosh, along that the edge of that metal. Note to self, metal sharp. At the end of metal, a thin sheet is very sharp. Be very careful or you will slice your finger. The top of my skin, like my knuckle right here, I sliced it like I just did a nice little sliver. I mean, honestly, if I'd have gone much longer, it would have just sheared the skin right off the top of my knuckle. Just saying. I'm just not trying to get you to feel sorry for me. I'm just saying it wouldn't take much. I mean, it wouldn't have been bad as far as like life-threatening or anything. I'd had a lot of blood. It did bleed a lot. Oh, good idea. Oops, that little sliver just shot right across the thing to my camera or my phone. Good idea. Boy, I must have missed that in a live, didn't I? I'm marking my centers on my lining pieces because I'm going to sew my slip pocket to my lining. Now, this slip pocket would be great for cash in this little wristlet because this wristlet acts as a wallet. So again, this is a great thing. You can throw it in the shoulder bag that she's going to come out. If you don't need it, you just grab it out and you're good to go. Because it is great. It'll hold cash. And I believe, now, because I'm in America, I can't say for sure, but it's a nice tall one. So I think, let me get one of my dollar bills here. I know American dollars are smaller than European, but I mean, this fits in, this will fit in nicely. And I think it's big enough. You can use it for European cash too. And she is in another country. And I think she uses, I'm not sure what she uses. She's actually in Nigeria. So I think they use pounds, European dollars. So I believe she has large, you know, the bigger bills too. So I'm sure this will fit that as well. All right. So painter's tape it is. That's what's going to happen. Because I got to get it all. I mean, I've cleaned it up the best I could and try to get all the sticky off. But I know I'm going to have to go back over it because it's sugar. So it's going to stick. All right, let's do this. Let's figure out where we're going to place it on our lining. Yes, where we're going to place it on our lining. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm going to get my center. We're going to measure down and place it. I'm going to throw a couple slivers of double-sided tape, just using the 1/8 of an inch, just to hold it in place, to sew it. Because, well, smoothy smooth is smooth. I mean, that's probably why Susan gave it the name Smoothie Smooth, right? All right. So I'm just using this just to hold it in place. And this is 1/8 of an inch. So when I stitch it on, if I hit like one little piece of it, it should not cause any kind of issues with my needle, because it's just typically you're going to be sewing this on at 1/8 of an inch. All right. So let's get the first side. I'm going to have to readjust my, exactly. That is the truth. And I'm in a basement. I mean, as you can tell, I'm in a, well, unless you think my whole house is not finished, right? I am in a basement, and it's an unfinished basement, as you can tell. So, oh, I need to mark my center of my slip pocket. So you want to center it, and you want to put it where she tells you to in the pattern. Again, join her Facebook group. She's got this pattern for free. And also, you guys, she's a very positive person. I'm not going to lie. She puts great things out on her Facebook group. She's always putting very thoughtful things and very positive thinking things out there. So, and great, you know, she likes to feature her patterns, obviously. It's her Facebook group. And you can see her other patterns out there. I know I don't want ants. I have enough problems trying to get rid of spiders. I don't want to. Look, I got to fix this side. This side needs to go up a little bit. I thought it looked a little crooked. So give me a quick second. This needs to go up. Yeah, and it's like I say, she's great with her positive thoughts. And I've talked to her a few times, you know, via email and messages and stuff, and she just seems like such a very nice person. I don't know. All right, sorry. The daughter's wanting food, things that she's got saved here, and I don't know. All right, so I'm going to stitch this down, and now I am going to actually do like a little Y stitch on here, because this typically will be something that you're going to get in and out of. So I'm just going to go down, going to hit a little angle to make it like a little bit of a Y. Nothing, you know, too drastic, because you want to still make sure your bills fit. And then I'm going to go down. And again, it's 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. So again, 1 week only. Today is the pattern was released. Go to her Facebook group. You can get this pattern. And then in the next few weeks, you will be able to purchase the shoulder bag that matches this wristlet. And I think it's a great idea, honestly. You've got a wristlet to go with your shoulder bag, and, you know, you can make a match. I think it's really a neat idea, actually. All right. Tomorrow, I got to be in tutorial mode. I got to get my tutorial completed for Tolu for her Petra. I messed up. I dropped the ball. I didn't get a tutorial recorded for her release last week. That was not very nice of me. So I got to make sure I get her tutorial done as quick as I can. All right. Slip pocket achieved. Card slots, guys. Let's move. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Okay. We need... Take the card slot pocket G and fold it in half, right side along its length. Right sides together. Boom. That would be right sides together. And look at this. This is Tulip Bee Stripes. This is her canvas. This is a little thicker. But I think this would be great for card slots. And since I'm using a solid interior, I thought this would be, you know, just a little pop. All right, so right sides together. So let's get this clipped. Boom and boom. And we are going to stitch the short end of the card slot piece. So it's a nice long piece. We're going to stitch on the short end of the card slots. So let's see, sew along it using a yada yada seam allowance. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is that the right way? Yeah. So the folded piece should measure. Is what I got, right? Let's make sure. There's that. Okay, so it should measure that. Okay. We're going to sew along this edge here, which is this. It's now the longer edge, but it was the short edge, if that makes sense. So let's stitch this at the seam allowance she gives. Let me decrease my stitch length. This is a thinner weight material, and my machine likes it better when I use a more narrow seam allowance, or more narrow stitch length. And these are cute how she did her slip pocket, her card slots. That's what we're working on. I have to reread because I did these on her Everly bag when I did her Everly wristlet. And I always have to kind of read it. All right, so you've got that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn it right side out. Like that. Boom. Give it a little shake if you need to. Like Bob Ross. Shake like he shakes his brush. Knock all the water off. All right, I'm going to grab my flathead screwdriver and work this seam here where it's sewn together. I think I talk so stinking much. I don't sew as much as I talk. Wow. All right, we're going to top stitch at the seam here as well as at the bottom. So once you get this all nice and straight, I'm going to get it nice and straight. I'm putting my clips in to hold this seam. So there's my seam at the top. I'm going to fold it down and increase that. And then I'm going to top stitch both the top and the bottom of these now long edges. So let me get my top stitch. Let me go up a little bit. And again, top stitching is 1/8 of an inch. So to finish my craft sale conversation, and then I'll drop it. If you do craft shows and you want to sell your vinyl bags at a craft show, make sure you don't have a lot of hardware involved. I mean, you can always have one. I try to make a few bags that are just stand out where people can card slots about, you know, depending on how you make them, they can be a pain. this is actually not a hard way to make card slots. This is actually a very simple way to make card slots, to be honest with you. All right, so you've got your piece like this, and now all you're going to do, because this makes, I forgot how many cards it makes, but it's plenty enough for, you know, your little wristlet. Let's see, hold on. With an erasable, okay, turn right side out, top stitch both at the top. Now take your pen, an erasable pen, which I'm going to use the lines on here. I think I should be able to get enough of the right time. I'm just going to make in the top little stitch. Let me see what, well, of course it doesn't equal out right on a line. I was hoping it would like line up exactly on a line and I don't have to draw lines, but we're going to do it. I don't know, can you see that? I could see it just enough. It'll fade probably before I even get a chance to use it. See it. All right, so we're going to draw our lines. Let's draw one from the top and bottom. Place. Oh, first of all, it's this side that you're going to do it. So on the long edges, it is not difficult. I'm going to tell you what, it's not difficult. I just got to get my brain to concentrate. From the top and bottom edges of the card pocket piece, place the card pocket piece on the right side of the other main lining, and then clip it in place. Top stitch on the lines you drew. So yes, you want to go from the long edges in from this at the seam allowance that she gives you. So I'm going to get a longer ruler. Make sure we're on the right side because I'll mess up. So I'm going to draw this line like this. And then I'm going to grab my other lining piece. And then she gives you a measurement from the top edge. And this stretches over the whole piece. Okay, yeah, it's, I just have to think, you know, because it's different. We're not used to this way. And that's always something that, you know, we always struggle with. It's something different, but it always works out. All right, so I'm making my measurement. I'm going to place this down. Again, this will go over a little bit because of the angle of your piece. So just make sure you're centered it enough where your piece hangs over. All right, and I'm going to you're going to hold this down, and then what you're going to do, that line you drew, you're going to stitch on that line onto your lining piece. So I'm going to scooch this over, get my stuff out of the way, grab my lining and everything, scooch it. I just moved it, but that's okay. I can reposition. We'll just position it this way. All right, back together, that, and just make sure you're straight. That's why I'm using the big roller. I'm going to hold it in place. Now, let me make sure it didn't shift. Oh, need to go up just a bit. I don't want it to be crooked. Crooked. Come on, all that lip of my machine here. Be patient with me because this is going to be an item I'm going to sell, so I want to make sure it does look right. All right, hold it in place, don't move. I think what I'm going to do is throw in a couple stitches and then I'm going to check it again. Let's go. Get a couple stitches in. Now I'm going to check it again. This is just to make sure. All right. I keep hearing my heat press. I was going to heat press my lining pieces, my Smoothie Smooth flat, because I'm pretty sure it was Amber with Crafty Supporter. She did a thing. I think it was a short, but I'm not 100% sure where I seen her do it at. I'm not 100% sure it's her, but anyway, I seen that. And I did it on one of my bags. Oh my gosh. If you can press your Smoothie Smooth before you use it, because it gets wrinkles, because of course it comes all folded, do it. It makes your Smoothie Smooth so smoothie smooth. I mean, it's like an extra smooth. I'm not going to lie. All right. So you've got where you stitched it. This is from here to here, from the stitching. This is where she tells you to measure in. So you want that side to be at the top. And then you're going to have the longer space from here for your line drew to the bottom. That'll be the bottom. That'll be where you sew it on. Now you're going to take this piece and bring it up. And she gives you the measurement, how far. Let's see. So place that top stitch, clip it in place and top stitch the line. So you gotta have 2 lines. What? 2 lines. Oh, Toni. We got another line. I missed it. So on the other side, there'll be a gap about 1/2 of an inch here. So you're gonna top stitch there. Let's make another line. See, you've got that top stitch. So this is the line I just sewn. I'm going to draw. So you go in from this edge in and make a mark. And then you go from this edge in and make another mark. And then you're going to top stitch both lines onto your lining piece. That's what I missed. Whoops. Daisy. I got to reset my I think my thing is off of the speed that I have it set on, because when I hit that pedal, it just wants to fly. All right. So again, this is the top of my lining. So I've got the 2 lines stitched. Now I'm going to take this piece here at the bottom. I'm going to fold it up. And you're just going to basically fold it up to where it's stitched and just kind of give it a nice little crease. Press, I should say, like that. And then there's your card slots. See, it's not difficult. I just had to read the pattern. And these are some of the easiest card slots. And then what you're going to do is these card slots are made, and I'm pretty sure these are the ones that are made to go, yes, for your thing to go vertical. Let me get my little gift card here, my little $5 gift card I've never used. I keep it handy when I do any kind of with card slots. You're going to go like this. So your cards are going to go vertical. That way you get the max amount of cards in your bag. I mean, genius. All right. So now I'm going to fold it up and do this. I'm just going to press it really good. And then let's see what our measurements are. You're going to go ahead and top stitch the sides. And then she's going to give you measurements. Okay. All right, so let me top stitch these, and then it'll be easier to make my marks from the sides. I'm just basting this down, so this is just 1/8 of an inch from the edge, just to hold it down when I make my lines to sew on. So that way I don't have any movement when I do this. I'm sewing it from the bottom up, so this piece lays flat. If I go from the top down, I worry that it might shift. And remember, this is at an angle, so you are going to sew a little bit at an angle when you baste. Oops, I'm going too much at an angle. There we go. All right. See, it just hangs over just a little bit, and we'll trim that up when it's time. All right, so I'm just going to hold this down, make my marks to where I need to go. 1, 2, 1, 2, and let's see. I'm going to do it straight on. Where's it at? Where's my count number? There's that. Let me make sure that that will give me enough room. I'm going to draw a line. And what I'm doing is I'm drawing just a tiny little notch at the top because you're making your marks in. And I want to make sure that that still gives me my room because, again, you're at an angle. So but you want to keep your ruler straight. So, counting for our seam allowance, which is that's going to be a card slot, that's going to be a card slot, and that's going to be a card slot. So we got 2, 4, 6. Who do we appreciate? Card slots. Just saying. Just saying. All right. So this card slot lands right on one of my lines. So I don't need to make my line. So I'm going to go from the bottom up. And I am going to back stitch at the bottom. You're not going to really see it. You can pull your threads through. But I'm going to back stitch. And I'm actually going to back stitch over my edges too. Just to get that extra secure. This is going to be down inside, so it's not going to be like really jump out at you that you back stitched. So there's my first one. And we'll do a little check. See, remember? Now, this sides are going to look a lot roomier, but don't forget we've got a seam allowance for when we sew it together. So you want that extra room. All right, where's my other line at? That is not quite on the line, so I am going to just get my starting point. You should make a line. Don't do like I. Do like a line. But if I go slow enough, I can do this. I can make it. Oh, there I did. I made it. All right. So, card slots are done. Boom and boom. I'm leaving the back just a tad longer. So it doesn't pull through. Of course, the front you don't want long. But the backs I am going to leave a little longer. Let's clean up these threads. So there's your card slots. Let's trim down the sides to make them even, or how it hangs over. Let's trim these card slots a little bit so they can be even with the sides. But now I never did get my pieces smoothed out, which I hate, but it does make beautiful. My scissors need sharpened and oiled in case you can't tell. Of course, I could be like Shinova and have a tool that just never, no matter how many times you oil it, never stops squeaking. But they really need sharpened as well. All right, see, look, there's your card slots. Perfect. Again, 6 card slots. All right. We are now moving to exterior pocket. What time? We got 4:52. 4:52, exterior pocket. So we are going to grab our exterior pocket piece. I've already got the hole cut out. My advice to you, if you're using a vinyl, you can just cut the hole out. As long as it's a non-frame material, you don't need to worry about it. If you're using cotton, I would do the little, I would not cut the hole out. What I do is I would make a mark. If you're using cotton, make a line, make the rectangle spot, draw a line through the center, and then do the cut through the center, but then do your little points, your like darts kind of deal on the corners, and then fold them in. You can do it that way, or do a facing piece without going through a long thing. You could do a facing if you're using cotton for your exterior. Use vinyl, a good vinyl. You don't need to do that. So my tip to you, if you don't want to go through all of that, use a good vinyl. All right, exterior pieces are completed. All right, so we're going to get our back. Let's get our zipper. Pretty pink zipper. It's a nice, like a blush pink almost. All right, so I'm just going to cut my zipper. I'm going to do it the way that, you know, I had lost my zipper scissors. I have found my zipper scissors, and now I've lost them again. So my poor scissors here have been initiated to be zipper scissors now. But they're never fabric scissors. These aren't my good fabric scissors. These are just them buy a 3-pack at Sam's or Costco. All right, so there's my zipper. I need to grab. Let's see. Let's do a quick little flame here to zipper. Okay. You always want to singe the edge of your zipper tape if you're using zipper by the yard. She says you can do raw, you know, you can do edge paint if you want. Again, you're not going to notice it with this piece. All right, let me go grip my zipper pull because, again, I'm never ready, Toni. You can start calling me never ready, Toni. All right? Always ready, but never ready. Let me grab a zipper pull real fast. Do-do-do. Back zipper. Front zipper. All right, we got us some cute zipper pulls. Cutest ones. I got, actually, these zippers pulls I actually got off a wall whack. It says handmade. This is going to be my main zipper pull. And then the cute, just a cute little, I mean, Side does sell these, but I did get these off of wall whack. I had to order some other stuff there, so I went ahead and grabbed some of these. I just like to use these for like interior or, you know, something like this. Nothing major. All right, let's get some zipper tape on. We're just going to get some double-sided tape on your zipper. Okay. And then let's get our zipper pull on. Zipper pull. And guys, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Go ahead, Lindy. I appreciate you watching me. I mean, I know you're sneak watching me. So I appreciate you tuning in. You have a good evening and safe travels home. I'm not going to lie. It's traffic anywhere is crazy, especially where you live. All right. All right, let's grab our zipper lining pieces, which are these cute little pieces here. And we are going to, I'm going to put double-sided tape at the top of each piece, just on one end, the long edges. Oops. Hello. Not stitch. I'm sorry. I probably just butchered your name. And I said hi. I just, I apologize. Sometimes it's hard. I know stitch is in it. Nos Kip Stitch. Nos Kip Stitch. If I say that a few times, I might get it to work, come out of my mouth the right way. All right. So we're going to take this, take your lining piece. Well, I already put it on the front side. What silly me. You're going to take your lining piece. You're going to put your, the back part of your zipper tape to the right side of your lining piece. So just center it out like that. I probably shouldn't have put the double-sided tape on the front yet. I just kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but line it up. Make sure it's centered out. And then you're going to stitch this at the seam allowance that she gives you. Actually, you're going to just more or less do a top stitch length on this. So let me go ahead and stitch that. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece and you're going to fold it up like this and then flatten that out. Now you can stitch it down to make it flat, or you can double-sided tape it. But let me take a quick read real fast. Yeah, I needed to go just a tad bit bigger on the seam allowance here. And I just accidentally hit the foot pedal, so let me get my thread back up. There we go. All right, needed to take a bigger seam allowance. I wasn't paying attention like I normally don't. Ugh. All right, guys, I hope I didn't just break my machine. I might have just knocked it out of clutch. That is why I have a sewing machine. But let me take a look real quick. There's my thread. All right, that's my bobbin thread. Let's see if it stitches right. If you see my hand where I jerked it back real quick, yeah. I went to grab my wheel, and because somehow I jammed this, I don't know what I did. Nope, I think it's sewing. I went to grab my wheel and it started to fly really, really fast because it was, because I'm silly. Just all I'm going to say. But I didn't knock it out. That's a plus. Now, you don't have to, you know, honestly, probably didn't need to put your zipper pull on yet because you got that little, I hate that little bulge when you're trying to sew with the zipper pull on, honestly, but I know I'm not using a zipper foot. I hate using a zipper foot on this machine. Not going to lie. All right, now that is the appropriate seam allowance. Now I'm going to take it, fold it down, and because I already stuck that goofy tape there, I'm going to just tape it underneath it to hold that flat. Normally you could stitch it and that would hold it flat and it would save you double-sided tape, but silly me. 5:01. It's 5:01 my time. All right, so we're just going to take it and then fold it down where that seam allowance is. And let me shoot my husband a text real fast. Let me grab my tablet. And if I can't get this done by 5:30, I'll come back later on. How's that sound? I know that doesn't help Val, and I'm sorry, Val. But again, I do have to get dinner, and I really thought I would be able to get this done today. I'm just trying to find I'm sorry, guys, and this isn't helping. That's not going to work. All right, we're not going to do that. We're not going to mess with that because I can't remember my husband's phone number. He's upstairs. I could holler, but we're not going to do that, right? I was just letting him know it'll be 5:30 instead of 5, which he's fine with it. There's your lining. That's the inside of your pocket. You're going to take this piece, back it up to your zipper, to the back side of your zipper like this, and then we're going to stitch it on at the seam allowance she gives. I appreciate the ones that are with me today all weekend, so I thought I'd go ahead and do, well, I also promised Phoebe I would do a live for her wristlet to promote the wristlet coming out today. I promised her that because I couldn't do a I couldn't test for or do a tutorial for the wristlet, so we did a live. But yeah, if I can't get this completed in this, I'll come back later on tonight and finish it. And my apologies to the ones in our other countries that will be evening when I do this, or in the middle of the night when I do it. All right. Now we're going to place it. Oh, I got to do my stabilizer. Told you we'd come back and do the stabilizer. So here is my piece. Now she has, now I'm just using some 1 millimeter, 1 mm. I think it's what it is. It's that really, really skinny foam. I got mine off of Amazon. You can also get it from Lori at Wild Pony Designs. She sells it as well. She actually has a great price. So if you want to support a small business, go to her and get it. When I bought this, it was something that I needed like next day. That's why I have black foam, because I need it the next day. And I could get the black foam next day. So this is the back piece. You will cut out a window from your stabilizer for the back piece. That's going to be bigger. So that way you've got that opening for your zipper window, and put your zipper so your zipper's through and you don't see it. I don't normally use black, but again, I just needed something right away for another project, and that's what I get. And I'm using this in the tutorial in the live today, so to save time, so I don't have to go and fuse Decovil to it once I sew my pieces together. All right. Just be very careful. Make sure it's out of your seam allowances, especially if you use something like this. This will cause serious skipped stitches. It's very, very sticky. There. Ooh, I can't believe I did that. So there you go. So there's my stabilizer on the back. Now, I'm going to get my piece here. I'm going to remove the double-sided tape from the front of my piece here. And I did stitch on it a little bit, but we can work around that, right? It'll work. Center up your zipper in your window. You can always mark it. I am going to eyeball it because, well, I like to make mistakes, right? Let me zip this shut so I can see where it lays. There we go. Oh, yeah. There you go. See? There's your zipper pocket. And then what we're going to do is you're going to pull your pocket piece. Make sure you don't sew this shut yet. You're going to open up your lining from your pocket. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start stitching only at the bottom. Go like 1 stitch past the bottom here, and then stitch all along just the bottom, 1 stitch past, and then stop. Pull your threads long. Make sure your threads are long, because you are going to pull your threads through and tie them off in the back so your stitching doesn't show. This is an exterior of your bag. You don't want your stitching to show. You don't want to look at that. Look at back stitching if you can help it. So let me get my zipper pulled back out of the way. Make sure, again, your lining is open. I got to pull my zipper up. It wants to shift it down a little bit. Always when it's open on that end, it wants to do that. So let me get my zipper up. I'm going to start 1 stitch below, beyond the window, at 1/8 of an inch, because you're top stitching. It's about 1 stitch. Let's say that, about 1 stitch. All right, dropping my needle. Let me get my stitch length increased. Hold your threads. Again, make sure they're long. And just hold your thread so it doesn't get pulled up into the stitching. All right, we're going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch away from the raw edge. Oh, that bulk is wanting it to shift. So give me a second. I gotta. Okay. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, we got it. We got it. All right. Again, I'll put all the links to everything I use. A link to her Facebook page. I will put a link to her pattern. Everything in the description after. I usually try to get it done beforehand, but I was running quickly out of time. I still was late. But that was, I can't say beyond my control. It was my control. I cut my finger, so you know. I didn't have to cut it, right? I could have paid attention to what I was doing rather than rushing. Or I couldn't have spilled my drink at all. And then we never would have had issues. But we won't go there because we just won't. All right, so we're going to pull our threads through, tie them off. I give them a couple, about three ties to hold them. I'm going to singe the end since I can't leave them long to keep them from pulling through, just in case the knot works its way loose. I'm going to singe this since this is a nylon or polyester type of thread, blended thread. I can singe them, and it will won't go anywhere. Let's just word it that way. It just turns into like a ball of plastic almost. All right, so there's my back. There's my front. Notice, see, my pocket is still loose now. Now we're going to let the pocket down. Let it flatten just like this. And then we're going to start right here and go up, over, all the way, and back down and stop in the hole where you got here. So you're going to start in one of these, you know, whatever direction is comfortable for you, but you're going to start in one hole and end in the other. Okay, Lindiana, again, I can say, I think, yeah. Okay, yeah. If you want, yeah, you can watch when you get home. Hopefully, I'll be done. Hopefully, I'll be done by the time you get home, right? Depending on how close you live, I guess I should say. All right, so I'm starting. I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to shoot over. Make sure, again, your threads are long, about 1/8 of an inch away from the raw edge. Just if you have to move your zipper pull out of the way, do that when you get to it. And then back down. Make sure you end up in the exact same hole that you started in. If you have to hand crank to do that, I would advise that. All right. Threads out. Let's pull them through and get a nice clean exterior pocket. Now this, again, wristlet, I am going to say it again. It's a companion to her Alice shoulder bag that's coming out. This little wristlet is so cute because you can keep this as a wallet. You got your card slots, you got your bill slots, and this zipper pocket on the exterior, big enough to put coins in. It acts as a full wallet that will go inside your Alice shoulder bag, to be coming soon, currently in testing. I'm excited. I can't wait to get it started. But you got it all, and then all you have to do when if you're not wanting to carry a full bag somewhere, like you're going to the store, running up to the street, to the store, boom. All you gotta do is grab it out, throw your phone in it, big enough for a phone, and you're good to go. All right, there you go. Guess what time it is? It is time to prepare our zipper. I'm going to put my backing, my interfacing foam on the back of my main piece, in case anybody that missed it. This is my front. This is the crystal version. I did sew it up in the beginning. Now, you will notice if anybody rewatches this from the beginning, there will be a couple spots where I froze, and I apologize for that. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Val, you know, I picked the day you had cataract surgery. I'm sorry. I hope you feel better. Yes, please get some rest. Take care of yourself. And best wishes on your healing of your surgery. I will have another, I'm going to probably do another live next week. I have an idea of what I want to do. All right. Foam achieved. All right. I'm getting my zipper pieces here. These are my zipper tabs. I'm going to grab my zipper again. Let me get the length of this zipper. Okay. Let me cut my zipper tape. I'm glad you did get to join us though, Val. I'm glad you came on, especially since you'd had surgery today. All right, let me put my finger where it needs to be cut. Boom. Time is it? 5:15. Yeah, we'll probably end up finishing this up tonight. And then my apologies for not, like I say, if I had started on time, we probably wouldn't need to do all this. I was trying to go on a little earlier for folks like Val, because they're unable to watch lives when I typically do them at night. So, all right, zipper pull, boom. Get that on. Make sure your zipper pull or zippers go in the same direction on your wristlet to your zipper pocket in the back. Well, let's not say make sure. If that concerns you, make sure you do it that way. I guess I should say. Please don't hit the floor. Thank you. This is a cute little zipper. I like it. It says handmade. Yeah, handmade. I have to look. Some say handcrafted, some say handmade, but all right. Zipper pull achieved. We are going to put our zipper tabs on. You're just basically going to sew them like that. And then just stitch it on at the seam allowance that she tells you. Okay. I am going to put one clip in. Ugh, gotta stop dropping things. All right. Get my threads out of the way so it doesn't bunch up underneath it. There we go. All right. And then we're going to take it, fold it down, and top stitch it. What I'm going to do is cut a little. No, I'm not doing that. You know why I'm not doing that? I'm just going to cut a little bit off of the vinyl. I'm not cutting into the zipper tape because I want to keep as much zipper tape as I can. But I'm just going to cut just the 1/8 of an inch off of that vinyl. That'll just reduce bulk. I don't know if she says that in the pattern, quite honestly. I didn't look. This is the zipper for the top of the pouch or the wristlet. We're going to get this zipper done. Let me take a look at the pattern real quick once we do this. And then we'll determine if this will be a stopping point. And then if so, we'll, like again, I'll come back tonight and we'll finish it up. Tonight won't be long. It won't be long at all once we finish it up. It's dinner time. I really thought I'd be done by now. It's dinner time and I need to eat. And my apologies for making it a two-parter. Okay, I'm going to cut that little bit of vinyl. And people wonder what I'm doing when I swipe things off. I am not, well, let me put this way. I'm not intentionally trying to put it in the floor. I actually have a box that I keep down here. It's a very narrow box, but it's a wide box. And that way it catches as much as I possibly can of all of my for reds, my scraps, all of that stuff. I just keep a little box down here. It's much easier for me to do it that way. All right, so my zipper will open. There's my, this is my, going to be my end point for my zipper when it's fully shut will be this side. So I want this to be my starting point. I'll show you. So for example, this is my zipper. I want my zipper to open up from here to here. And then when I, like my back here, it's going to open from here to here. So it's all going to match up on my pieces. So zipper pull and zipper tabs are achieved. So let's see what our next step is. And I think this is probably where we'll stop. And then we'll come back tonight. And I'll give you a time here in a minute. Yes. Because now it really starts the assembly part of it. You know what? Let's do it. You know, I'm fixing hamburgers tonight. How long does it take to fix hamburgers? Not that long. Not that long. We can eat at 6 o'clock tonight. My husband likes to eat a little earlier when I'm not working, but it's fine. It's fine. He probably doesn't expect me up there before 6 anyway. So let's go ahead. Let's get it done. That way, after dinner, I'm good to relax. You're good to relax. Not like, you know, you had to rush. You were going to rush to watch me, but oh my gosh, these colors. Can I say something? When we put our design our bags and put things together, we don't always know exactly how it's going to turn out. We can put it in our heads and think, okay, this looks okay. It looks fine. But when we actually start putting things together, we really sometimes really see what we do. What was this telling the lady at the show yesterday? This is our art, honestly. And I sound not goofy when I say this, but I want this to be my front of my bag. So here's my front. This is going to be my lining for my front. I'm going to put double-sided tape at the top of all 4 of my pieces. 1/8 of an inch. But anyways, this is kind of my art. I can't paint. I can't draw. But man, I can sit down and envision the best I can vinyl together. Sometimes fabric and vinyl combo. Sometimes just fabric. I can sit down and sit there and look at this stuff and then try to envision in my head. And I say, this looks kind of neat. It's different. But you don't know really until you get it all together what it's going to look like. I think this turned out really adorable, honestly. All right. Zipper, again, making sure my zipper pull is in the right direction. I'm going to take it face down. And this is going to be the assembly of this, quite honestly, guys. It's like a pouch. So I'm going to center my zipper. Let me start by this. Let's make sure our zipper is center. So I'm just going to make a little dash on the out of the seam allowance, if I can get my pen to work here. Like that. So I've just got a little mark. Let's mark my center of my wristlet. And I'm going to center my zipper down. A little more than that. I need to be able to see it. I'm going to center my zipper, right sides together, with my zipper pull in the direction you want it. Again, I want mine to open from left to right. I don't think I actually said it, but that's the way I want it. So I'm going to center that out. If your little tab, and the reason why I say center it out, in case your little tabs are a little long, you at least got it at the, you know, center point. Just saying. All right. So I'm doing that. See, and there's my zipper. Make sure it lines up. You don't have any bulges. All right. Grab your lining piece that you want on the front of your bag. Take that, center it out, and you're going to stitch these together at the seam allowance she gives you. Let me read my seam allowance. Now you can, if you're not comfortable doing this all together, you can do a basting stitch with just your line, with just your front part and your zipper, and just baste it at 1/8 of an inch, if you want, and then put your lining on. Since I'm using double-sided tape, I can go ahead and do it together. If you're using clips, I would highly advise you to baste the zipper onto the front panel before you attach the lining panel at the full seam. All right, there we go. Let me make sure everything lines up. Okay. All right, so let me get my seam. Let me see what the full seam allowance is. Blah de blah. Okay. And it is the seam allowance that I like when I sew a zipper. All right. Now, if you want to use your zipper foot, this will be a great place to use it. I'm not going to talk about my zipper foot again. All right, just make sure you go and move your zipper pull around as needed. All right. I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. And if you can, give me a thumbs up. I am getting close to my 3,000 hours that you have to have in order for them to even consider monetizing you. I mean, once I hit I got the subscribers. I just don't have the hours yet before they consider monetizing you. Yes. So I'm folding everything down. I'm meeting wrong sides together with my lining and my front piece. Just folding it down. I'm putting clips on the sides just to kind of hold it down because I'm going to finger press my vinyl down. But yeah, it's they consider you, and then you've got to like apply. I don't know what the application process is. So yeah, we'll see. All right, I'm just going to I'm pulling this down to match my bottom here, and that's just going to help me place my when I do my top stitching of my top here, my top stitching up here. So now you're going to top stitch. Let's see, does she have you go all the way across? She does. Some people don't like the top stitch all the way across on way these are constructed. So if you're not comfortable going all the way across, by all means, do it your favorite way. I'm going to go all the way across, though. Just make sure your lining is pulled so you don't have your lining in the way of your zipper. And it really, honestly, I think the reason why personally, I think, not personally, but I think the reason why you don't, most people, is the way when you put it together, how it lays. But, I mean, it works for me. I can make it work. All right, so there's your front piece there. And there's, like I say, there's your slip pocket. Now I'm going to grab my back piece and my, oh, I got to see where we're going to put our wristlets. Hold on. Oh, so note to self. I did do that a little wrong. She does have you pull this out, the lining out of the way when you top stitch the front of the bag. So in her pattern, I didn't pay attention. We're going to pull the lining out of the way, then top stitch all the way across with the lining not included in top stitching. So that's how she has it. My personal preference is having the lining top stitch down. So I will do that on my next side. I like my lining top stitch down. I need to find placement of the D-ring. So I'm going through real fast. And the placement of the D-ring is when we assemble it together. So let's go ahead and we're going to do the exact same thing to the back. Making sure our zippers, yes, are in the same right spots. And basically, I'm just going to line this up with my front piece like that. I don't have a zipper to worry about, so this should be quick. There we go. Make sure I'm doing it the right way. Flip it over. Let's do the lining. All right. Appreciate you guys watching. I know it's, like I said, it's a weird time. The people in the States, I think this is like drive home time on the Eastern time zone where I'm at. It is the drive home time, rush hour, if you will call it, is what we call it. And I know we are in the evening in the UK and such. So, all right, let me get my zipper out of the way. And let's go ahead and stitch it at the seam allowance given. 529. Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, let me move my zipper back. Or zipper pull, I should say. My other zipper's getting in the way. There we go. Okay. Again, the way she has you do it in the pattern is you pull the lining up out of the way and then you top stitch just the exterior down. Again, I'm going to put it all together. Oh, guess what I forgot to do, guys? Woohoo! I forgot to sew my zipper pocket shut. After you get it all stitched on, you sew your zipper pocket shut. We can still do this, even though we've stitched it already. We're good. So I'm just going to go in and stitch this zipper pocket shut. Tell you, it's not alive if Toni doesn't mess something up. Let me make my stitch length a little shorter so the coins don't fall through. Now you zipper pocket, of course, you're going to have one piece that's a little longer than the other. You just trim that out. I should have trimmed it first before I did this, but we're okay with this. As long as I make sure I keep within the seam. I'm just tilting it back a little bit here. Typically, you don't have to. Typically, you're not supposed to do it this way, but that out. I'm glad I noticed that before I closed it all up, right? All right, let's clean up my pocket. Let's say you just trim that piece off. That little bit, it's usually about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Making sure it's not in your seam allowance. All right, now I'm going to top stitch my seam allowance back up and pull my pieces down. You do have, now when you sew your pieces together, you will have some little extra bulk there when you do your, because your card slots, you should be okay if you use a thin enough material to make your card slots. So just be mindful of that, knowing that you're going to have layers there on the side. Oh, this is so cute. I love this color, this pink. It's just so bright and vibrant. Again, I'll put all of the, where you get all these pieces at, where I got all of my materials from. I will put that in the description afterwards, since I didn't have a chance to do it beforehand. And, but I can tell you it's all Tulip Bee. There you go. So I'm going to unclip this. Now we're going to place our, D-ring. Let me do a quick gander at my piece here. So I'm going to grab my D-ring so I don't forget it. I'm going to keep it right in front of me. I'm going to take my lining pieces, put those right sides together and clip like that. And then I'm just going to make sure my, when I match my piece here at the top, I'm going to fold my pieces down towards the lining, and I'm going to clip right there. It's a little bulkish, but we can do it. I'll just clip it like that. I got it. I got it. All right. Make sure everything matches up. I'm going to clip it, and then I'm going to place my connector in. That way everything's in nice order when I clip, when I put the insert the D-ring connector for my, or the D-ring for my wristlet strap. All right. We're almost there. We're almost there. Should I tell my husband we're almost there? Be patient with me just a little bit longer, right? I'm almost there. Okay. Now, she has you leave, let's see. What time? 5:35. We're doing okay. Whoops, whoops. All right, the placement of the D-ring connector. So, we are going to place it where the zipper closes. This is the zipper where the zipper closes. So I'm going to take the D-ring. I'm going to slip it in here where the raw edge is lined up with the edge of my piece. Or I'm going to stick it out just a tad bit. So we're going to take that, slip it right in there, and she tells you about where to put it. So I'm going to keep it out just a little bit. You got to be careful. Don't pull it out too much because then you're going to have that D-ring get in the way and your stitching won't, I got to get the bigger clips out. There's little clips not going to hold that. So where you're stitching, your D-ring doesn't get in the way of your stitching and bump your piece. It bumps out your stitching. It makes it uneven. All right, so we're going to stitch all around it. And then we are going to leave an opening at the bottom because that's where we're going to pull it through. Make sure your pouch is unzipped because that's how you're going to pull it straight through from here all the way out. So make sure your pouch is unzipped to the point where your zipper is not going to be in the way when you stitch here. So I'm going to start over here. And then the seam allowance, I think she has you, it's bigger in the lining than the, yes. So the seam allowance in your lining is bigger than your actual pouch. So let me do that. Well, here he comes so I can tell him verbally that I'm going to start dinner here shortly. All right, so make sure I see. I'm going to start dinner here. I had a... I am going to start dinner here in just a minute.
I don't want anything.
Why?
I ain't hungry.
What'd you eat?
I didn't eat anything.
Oh. My seam allowance is big enough to where... Ah, interesting. Okay. I'm making sure that that is correct on my seam allowance. All right. I'm just about done. I was going to stop, but I'm so close to getting done. And, no, it's not. All right, so when I get here, I'm sewing it up right now. We're going to take your seam allowance and go bigger. go more narrow at your on your exterior that she gives you. It's always a little hard to go over that hump, but there we go. And make sure when you get to your connector, if you want to go back stitch over that, you can. Just give it that extra security. I need to go more. There we go. I kind of went out a little bit too far. There we go. Okay. That's interesting how she does the, I was looking at it. It's interesting how she does the corners. There we go. All right, so now that I'm back to my lining, I'm going to increase my seam allowance again. As soon as I get past here, I'm going to have to hand crank it through here, though, because of the bulk. There we go. And then I'm just going to leave my opening. I'm going to stop at a certain point. Lower that out of the way. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. Now I'm going to trim the seam allowance down around my lining. Let's see if she has you trim it. Box the bottom of the lining. Okay, repeat steps. Okay, so sew around the edges. Box the bottom. She doesn't have you trim your seam allowance, but I'm going to because I like to have a more near like that seam allowance for that. Remove the bulk, and I am going to stitch. I am going to snip a little bit in the exterior as well. Pardon my squeaky scissors. Now, when you get to where your connector is, you don't want to cut your connector because you want to keep that. So I'm just going to stop at my connector here. And then recut, starting cutting at right here in my lining. Then we're going to turn it right side out. Oh, we got to box the corners still. Sorry, forgot to box the corners. All right. So I'm going to make a mark that she tells you for boxing the corners. And I'm going to mark it. It's going to go from that corner point. Whoops. That corner right here where that's at. That's going to be your starting point. And I'm just going to mark from there where I'm going to box it. And we're going to box our corners. Turn it right side out. And boom. We are done. I think the other side is... Yeah, we're going to go this same way here. That's interesting. That didn't work right, did it? Okay, that's fine. We got it. We got it. There we go. I had to find my point. There we go. So I'm just marking where I'm going to box my corners. Now I could just like estimate it, but I'm going to actually mark it so that way I'm good at doing it. So I'm going to pinch my corners Gonna box it out. I'm gonna reach through here. And then once I box them, I'll clean up that edge, but I'm not going to trim it out until after I get this done. So I'm just going to do that. There we go. And then I'm going to open up my seams of what I have here, because the vinyl, I want them open. Well, yeah. All right. There we go. I'm going to throw a clip to hold it where I can do my boxes. Just tiny little boxes. It's nothing. It's really, really small. Very small. See, there's your, boom, my camera. You moved my stinking camera. There we go. So that's what I'm doing. And then when I get the rest of these, I will turn it right side out and I'll show you what it looks like. I'll sew the lining shut off camera. We don't have to do that on camera, but I did want to get this done, and then we don't have to come back tonight. Yay, right? Because I don't know if anybody would come back tonight to finish it out. Oh. Alright, I am going to trim my corners, my boxed corners, about 1/4 of an inch away. So let's do that. And then I'll box the other corners for my lining real quick. Same way. Get a hold of it, pull it out. Appreciate the ones that are staying with me. I really do. If you can, if you haven't, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you're not a subscriber, I would greatly appreciate it if you become a subscriber. I know everybody says that, you get tired of hearing it. Thumbs up makes a huge difference. View time makes a huge difference. That's where I'm stuck right now, in limbo with YouTube, as far as them considering to monetize me. Again, once I get 3,000 viewed hours in 365 days, it's like 3,000 hours and it's rolling 365 days after you reach 1,000 subscribers. Or if you did all at the same time, which is great. But then they'll consider you. Ouch. Let's cut my finger in half. All right, guys, we are on the last corner, and then we'll turn it. Okay. All right, trim this down. Let's turn it. Turn and burn. And this will be no small feat, but we'll get it done. We'll get it. All right, I gotta pull, let's sit out. Now, if you're worried about turning it, you could leave the opening a little wider. You could throw some heat on it with an blow dryer. Mine is not plugged in. One of these days, I'm going to remember on a live to have my blow dryer plugged in and ready to go for when I turn bags on a live. But I'm getting it, so if you can just be a little bit more patient with me, we'll get it turned. I'll straighten it up, and then we'll see how cute this turned out. I think I left the little turn hole not real big, but we're almost there. Yes, if I had, again, if I had my hair dryer, it would be easier for me to turn this, but. Oh my gosh, if I can just get a hold of it. And my finger is opened back up, so. I thought I had it. So, note to self, make your turning a little bit wider or have your hair dryer ready. We're almost, forgot it, we're getting it. I need my, hold on, I need to get a piece of masking tape real quick. My, cut is seeping through my Band-Aid. Oh my gosh. You know, I do not usually have this much trouble. If I can just get a hold of it and push it. There we go. Silly, silly. I was worried about because my Band-Aid isn't absorbing or absorbed too much. I was worried about touching this and it was causing me problems about turning it. And I don't want my fingernails on the vinyl and tear the vinyl with my fingernails. So, what time is it? 5:51. I'm sorry, guys. I just need one good push. Got it. Got it. Got it. This typically is not a hard little pouch wristlet to turn. Again, I left the hole too narrow, and I didn't have my hairdryer handy to soften the vinyl enough to make it a little easier to turn. So this is my bad. I'm not proper. I don't know why I keep freezing up. I've got this on Do Not Disturb, and it's pushing calls through. Okay, push the lining down in there, and we are going to call it done for the night. Really cute. It's really nice. It's got a nice little corner on it, so it helps to make it a little wider. It's big enough to throw a phone in if you're just going to carry it without your bag. I'm going to pull this up. There we go. And our corner's nice and poked out. And we're going to zip it shut, and we'll see. Oh, look at that. It's cute. There we go. All right. There she is. This is the Alice Wristlet. Again, this is a companion to her up-and-coming shoulder bag that she's going to create, that she's currently in testing. I don't have the bottom stitch shut, so when you look inside, I just have to, I'm just trying to straighten it out, but you're going to see a little wrinkly because I don't have the stuff. Let's zip it up. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Let's turn this a little bit. My camera's, there we go. Isn't that cute? And then we've got the wrist strap. I got to still put my rivet in here, but you got your little wrist strap. Once I get the rivet on there, obviously it won't be so puffy, but you've got your cute little wristlet. You can do some coins there. You got your bills. You can put your bills there, your cards there. Drop your phone in if you're just going to use it like this. Or when you're done with it, drop it in your bag when you get your Alice bag pattern, when it comes out in a few weeks. Boom, you're good to go. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you sticking with me. And again, this is Alice Wristlet. Free for 1 week. Go to her Facebook page, Bloom and Needle. And she's got it on her Facebook page for 1 week only. We are currently testing her Alice shoulder bag. So once that comes out, this will be a companion to that. This is the crystal version. She has a classic version. I will probably go ahead and record a tutorial on the classic version, so I can go show things more in detail rather than trying to rush through it during a live or making silly mistakes. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much, and everyone have a great evening. Bye.